joining from. Thank you, Deepika. So yes, we have come up with a new initiative to create. I would request all of you to be a little mute so that I can go ahead and do my thing and then it's all yours. Okay. Thank you so much. So yes, as I was saying, we have come up with a new initiative for all of you to learn. Of course, we had created multiple things for our CTT family. And this time we are opening it up to the world to experience few things that we do for our family, and now they can also experience the benefits that our family gets. So, yes, here comes Communities of Practice, which is the first one. We are launching books on coaching. So, a few things on what Communities of Practice is. I'm sure few of you already know here, or most of you already know here. It is an initiative that ICF has brought in, and now we are saying that why not we also provide that more learning, more things for our people. So, yes, so COP is going to be something where you all come together for learning, for thriving, for understanding, sharing a platform, for engaging more and more networking, and again, lots of learning. Okay, so the first one that we're launching is books on coaching. We have two more communities of practice that we are launching this year. This coming 2 months. So the next month we'll be having team coaching, and after that, executive and leadership coaching. Okay. For the ones who are not Coach to Transformation and who don't know who we are, so Coach to Transformation is now a 10 plus year old organization. It was founded by our dear Rajat Garg, who is also an ICF MCC. He was part of ICF board and the founder and the whole mind behind CTT. And I think a few of you have also been trained by him and experienced what Rajat Garg as a mentor coach is, as a faculty is. But yes, here is all of us, extended versions of, I wouldn't say extended versions of Rajat Garg, but of course, all of us here to be part of you guys, make sure that you all have a great, great experience. So I'm going to call in Madhuri, who is also our COP, initiative from Coastal Transformation. So she's going to be giving you all a little bit on what are the rules of engagement. Then I'll go ahead and introduce our leaders. Madhuri, over to you.
Thank you, Aishwarya.
Slides.
Yeah, it's okay. We can first get to know everybody. So thank you and welcome all the book lovers to this COP of books on coaching. While all of you are wondering why does a COP need to be on books on coaching? It's actually helping you to build your resources, coaching skills and hone them and, learn from each other. So that's the whole idea. We all share this platform, mentors, coaches, extended coaches from the CTT family, from outside family. Everybody are here.
Can you just lift, please?
So while we are all here and we all intention is to learn from each other, make sure we read a lot of books. So I have a pile of them myself, and I have never been a book lover or somebody who will go and finish the books. And that is the real reason why I'm here, so that I can finish all the list of books that are there with me to be read. And yeah, so that's the purpose of me being here. Just a quick one. Can everybody just put in the chat box, where are you logging in from, while I run through some of the rules of engagement? Yes, thank you, Charles. My idea is the same thing, to finish all the books. Right. So at Coach to Transformation, we decided to align, like Aishwarya said, our educational needs and what we want to do in this coach education towards ICF requirements. One of the things that ICF does is have and build these communities of practice. And the first one is books on coaching that we are launching. There are some little bit of rules, not very difficult, not too tough to follow, but here you go. So bit of confidentiality what happens in this room stays here. It doesn't go out to the world, but you can always share your reflections, what you love about this book, what you don't like about this book, all of that on the LinkedIn group that you are already part of. Just in case you're not on that LinkedIn group, please raise your hand, and our lovely Aishwarya and Deepika will make sure they'll share the link and you can be on that group. So confidentiality towards these are all again aligned to ICF. Conflict of interest, in case there is anything that you see happening, you may love a book, somebody else may not like a book, and you may have that little bit of conflict. Let it stay there and not get into something different. The purpose of having the COP is sharing, learning, whatever we read up on coaching for. So professionalism, of course, and respect all fairness. Please avoid any kind of self-promotion. In case you wish to raise your hand as ambassadors or volunteers to take up or be part of the next COP, please let us know and we will make sure we can create that platform for you, or we can invite you for the next session. With that, I'm very happy to introduce our two leaders, which is Kanchan and Venkat. I've had the honor of learning with both of them and at different cohorts, and sharing this space with two avid readers and two book lovers, authors in their own right. It gives me a great pleasure to invite Aishwarya to share more about Kanchan and Venkat.
Thank you so much, Madhuri. I'll start with Kanchan. Kanchan comes with an experience, 17 years of experience in corporate. Kanchan specializes in empowering professionals and teams and also excel them in their careers and beyond. Her mission is very simple: to help individuals develop critical skills, communicate effectively, and lead with confidence, and thus unlocking their fullest potential in the process. So, yeah, whether you're a mid level leader, a fresh graduate, or a dynamic team, Kanchan offers customized training and coaching programs as well. So, Kanchan is here, who's like Madhuri mentioned, she's a avid reader, she loves books, and she's here to be the COP leader for this year. Next, we have our Venkat. Venkat is an ICF PCC. He's also our mentor coach at Coach to Transformation. He has had extensive leadership positions in the corporate world. He comes with a lot of experience, 30 years of experience in finance, 18 years in HR. He is a chartered accountant with an MBA in marketing, and he is also our COP leader for this year. So, how we are going to go about these meetings is every quarter we'll have one meeting. But yes, every month there will be books that you need to, read. You share your reflections. You guys communicate with each other, communicate with us, and keep our this small group of people alive. And also, you can join the other COPs to make sure that your learning continues throughout the year. So, 12 months, 12 communities of practice meetings, and 12 communities, gathering and coming together. So, over to you, Kanchan and Venkat.
Sure. Thank you so much, Aishwarya and Madhuri, I think, for setting this context. And thank you, Venkat, and all the coaches, lovely coaches who have joined us today. So I think it's an honor to be in a space where, I can share my own reflection. And when we started this conversation today and people were really, curious to know which book are we discussing today. So I have this one of my favorite books. If you're able to see this is a book I'll share in the chat window also. This is called as The Heart of Laser Focused Coaching. And this is by Marian Franklin. And yes, thank you, Priyanka. So I came across this book when I started my, coaching journey back in 2021. I had this we had these frameworks, we had this pressure of closing the conversation, coaching conversation in 35-40 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, how is it possible? Because, you ask some question and the person opens up. You can't really control that. Uh, Now, what this book did to me, it has actually made me a better coach by helping me focusing on the being of the person. So there is a wonderful uh, you know anatomy of the coaching conversation that this book gives. And what it says is that, from the first question itself, so like we are in the coaching conversation, the person comes, we ask this, okay, what is on the top of your mind? And then this person opens up, talks about the problem, story, whatever it is. So Marion says that the first question just after the story actually has the, power to open a conversation which is very focused. And there is a very intriguing word that she has taken, which is called as nosy curiosity. So when, I was a new coach then, and I would ask questions about the story. Okay, what happened? Okay, what did you do? Those kind of things. So that's a nosy curiosity. And she says that you don't really need the explanation. You don't really need the details on the story, rather ask questions on the person. So I think it's really right, Priyanka, nosy curiosity versus coach curiosity, best differentiation, certainly. So I really feel that it has made me a better coach. Uh, there is an amazing framework that has helped me, and I make sure, and I have this in front of me all the time whenever I reread this book, whenever I feel like I'm lacking somewhere or something has not gone right in this coaching conversation. So there are few things that we all learn through the coaching journey. But yes, to reinforce, I think this 5-step laser focused coaching process is something that's my biggest takeaway, which says listen deeply. So being very much present for your coachee, and you're listening beyond their words, paying attention to their tone, emotions, energy, all of it, so that you're able to understand the underlying issue and not just. So there is a statement which says that don't trust your client. It's a big statement, right? And this is what exactly it is, that see why are they telling me this, and you should always ask these questions from yourself while you're listening to that story. So I think listen deeply is the first step on the laser focused coaching process. Second, it says identify what matters. So you're pinpointing directly onto the core issue. So you're exploring what is possible for this person. Also, one aspect that I always struggled with, I would see where this coaching conversation is going, and I will tell myself I'm not able to help this client. So probably, a mindset which is telling me that fix the problem, help. So this coaching is not really helping. Rather than this book tells me that hold the client accountable, probably asking them that, okay, what is that they are willing to commit in order to achieve what they want to achieve. So I think holding the client accountable is the third aspect of this whole framework. Fourth is exploring what is possible. So when the client shares the challenges, you're asking them probably that what might be possible if this challenge wasn't in your way, or maybe asking in some other way, just to bring new perspectives, possibilities. That's the fourth aspect of the coaching. And a very important, and I think I didn't try it for a long time, challenging the assumptions. So first of all, bringing all the assumptions on the surface. All right, what are you really assuming in this situation? And then challenging that assumption in the conversation. I think this is my top takeaway from this book. And I really feel whosoever is a new coach, or in fact, somebody who's not really understanding the true sense of coaching or struggling in driving the coaching conversation smoothly, I think this book is a game changer. So I would highly recommend. What I would also do in the LinkedIn forum, I will share a YouTube video wherein there is a conversation directly by Marian Franklin, the author of this book, which was organized by ICF. And this conversation would have a number of demo questions. She took questions and explained. So it's a more than 1 hour long conversation, but it's really insightful. And I've watched this a number of times. So I think I really feel that this is quite an helpful book and the resources around it. Yeah, I think that's it about my reflection for this book. I think I'll hand it over to Venkat or probably others who, if you have read this book. Yeah.
Thank you, Kanchan. By the way, she doesn't say don't trust the client, okay? She says don't believe the client. That's the difference. And she said don't believe the client. What she means is do not believe the first thing they tell you. Because unless you explore further, deeper into what the client really wants, you will not get to the nub of the matter in the coaching. Right? For me personally, I think I first heard the term laser coaching during my coach training with CDD. I came across the term laser coaching. Laser coaching is all about finishing a session very fast in under 20 minutes. Now, since coaches are not responsible for the outcome a client gets during a session, I wondered what a 20-minute session could accomplish. I was always complaining that 20 minutes is too short a time to finish a coaching conversation. But it was only when I read this book, Heart of Laser Focused Coaching, I understood the difference between laser coaching and laser focused coaching. Yeah. Laser focused coaching is basically a process to quickly identify what she calls the greater truth. Yeah. So that the client can create an immediate change. Since the focus is on getting to the underlying truth very efficiently, the process and the timeline are streamlined. So laser focused coaching is what leads to laser coaching in my, So you get faster to the nub of the matter. You ask those incisive questions based on what is unfolding in front of you. So the client is able to get their clarity in a much faster time. That is the biggest, takeaway of this book really, is a focus coaching. Yeah. What I loved about the book basically was the different themes that she talks about. She says she identifies 25 themes, different themes that can happen with different clients across coaching conversations. But I could figure out only 23 out of them. I didn't find 25. I could list down only 23. And she lists beautifully there, the theme, what the behavior is for that theme, what is the coaching approach a coach can take, and suggest some questions, that can be asked for that particular theme. So this is a beautiful thing that I took away from the book. And the point that Kanchan mentioned when she started talking about the book was, some innocuous words the clients might use, These are what she called the by the way words, For example, a client opens the conversation by saying, I feel very hesitant talking about this topic, and then goes on to tell a story. Your first question should not be about the story. Instead, it should be about what makes you hesitant about this. See, that is about asking a question about the person and not about the problem, which is another, book, Coach the Person, Not the Problem. Oh, that's a totally different book altogether, but more about that later. So beautiful nuggets all throughout the book, and my book, copy of the book is heavily highlighted because time and again, all my coaching books are highlighted because I find it very useful to go back to the significant points again and again, time and again. I don't have to run through the whole book again. I just look at the typical important point which I've already highlighted, which made an impact on me when I read it first. So that's a very useful tool I have for refreshing my and reflecting sometime also. These are my few takeaways on the book. Not really takeaways, but my observations on the book.
Great insights and learnings.
I'm sure many of you may have read the book also. If you can share your thoughts on the book, it will be nice.
Exactly.
Whoever has read.
Maybe we can check how many have read the book. Maybe you can put up your hand.
Yeah.
Hey, Sangeeta. Hello. Nice to see you. There you go. Ruma Rao has raised her hand.
Hey, Aish. Hey, everyone. Sorry. Just replying to Madhuri.
Ruma, would you like to share your reflections?
Yeah, sure. So, uh, I mean, all of these things were really resonating, whatever, was being shared so far. And I think a couple of things that really stood out for me, what I remember right now from the book, I had never thought about asking that, by the way, comments that Venkat also just spoke about, focusing on that whatever is said is important, and that, by the way, words, uh, uh, you know, that a client uses in their first few sentences is really like important to focus on, because that unravels to something else. So that was totally new to me. And then, uh, always thinking about those first two questions that Marion mentions, why is the client telling me this? Focus on that. Think about that. What is the problem they are having? What's the challenge they are having? Think about those and then frame your first question. Though I don't think I'm totally there with, sort of being able to get that right, but I'm practicing that. So again, that. And I mean, I have actually loved everything about the book. I think every chapter was teaching me something new. And again, the themes, just to think in that thematic sort of way, that these are the typical things. And as I was reading that, it was coming to me was that, it's actually, you can look at most sessions and think that, yeah, these themes are somewhere there. Whether it's boundaries or it's self-acceptance, self-respect, self-esteem, things like that. So it's actually, quite again, it was quite something to think that, yeah, most of the sessions do fall in these categories. So again, that's something that was great for me.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruma, for sharing that. We have Madhumita as well, who has raised her hand. Please go ahead, Madhumita.
Yeah, I don't know whether I should. I was raising my hand to your question about whether I've read the book. Yes, I have, but I don't know whether I should share a little more about the book, because what I'm going to be what I have to share authentically might be a bit against the grain of what is being discussed. So maybe
Very
I
nice.
should skip.
Please do share. Now we are all intrigued.
Okay, I'll go. Okay, so I think I read the book quite a while back when I was doing my ACC training with Venkat, incidentally. And at that point of time, I found the book very, very useful, because I was at the initial phase of trying to figure out like how to make sure. That point of time, my biggest question was how to make sure that I finish it in 25 minutes and 5 minutes of feedback, like we were asked to do. So for that, I found it very, very useful. But I think if I were to think back, I think right now I'm in a bit of a different phase in the journey. And now if I were to really think about it, it doesn't seem that so useful any longer. Yeah.
Kanchan,
Thank you,
Venkat.
Yeah. Thank you, Madhumita, for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yes, anybody else who has read the book? And yes, Kalyan, I can see your.
Yeah. Firstly, I want to say hi to TT community. My name is R. Kalyan Sundaram from Bangalore. This is my third session from the community. So very early to have a confrontation questions, but still, a curiosity when Kanchan was spelling out two word, which is very most important. I thought, let me just probe there to get a little more. When she said a word called being, I think that's an ultimate, every coach or a human being is looking to transform or to shift. So if that book has got any kind of a tool or a tactics that, we can learn that how we can accelerate the shift in the being instantly, okay? I think if that can be taken up and probe it here, it will be helpful for everybody. So, we can just create the miracles like with the clients. Kanchan, please.
Sure. So I think, I've seen that all the, coaches who are masterful, who have practiced this truly well, this one constant thing that I've observed is that they question the being rather than the doing. And we were also trying to, I was also struggling at that particular phase. So I think this book has given a number of not only themes but questions. How do you actually frame the questions in a way that would help the other person, the coachee, also to think rather than giving speaking only from the information that the person has currently. So going beyond the existing understanding and thinking deeply and then answering that question. So I think that's really fascinating that I've got from this book. And there are a number of demos, the conversation demos in this book, which helps us see the difference when a new coach, you know, takes ahead the coaching conversation rather than a masterful coach. So I think the masterful coach actually questions the being. What is the real problem? Why is this person really speaking about it? I think that's the essence of this whole book. And rightly mentioned by Venkat, there is an entirely different, one more book which will of course take up in the next sessions, which is by Marcia Reynolds. And I think, if we really want to get into more understanding of the being, I think that book is another helpful book that we can take up. So we'll keep sharing those books, insights, I think. But Kalyan, thank you so much. And Madhumita also, Madhumita said that, the journey as a human, when we kind of, take the learnings and when we evolve in our own journeys, I think at times we have different understanding of things. So respect to that, what you have shared, Madhumita and Kalyan. Thanks.
Thank you.
Just want to come in and announce a small thing. So, guys, this is not a webinar where there is a speaker who will give us the gyan or whatever you guys are looking for. It is a meeting, and there is quotes on meeting, so that all of you are part of this group. So, I would encourage each one of you to come on camera and unmute yourselves, share whatever you guys are thinking currently, or if you have any questions. So let's make this more of a engagement and discussion rather than more of listening.
Yeah, I had a
Imran
question.
has
Sorry.
Imran has asked a question in the chat. Are those themes mentioned from the book general patterns seen in people? Yes, they are actually. And some of the patterns that are mentioned in the book are self-esteem. The themes that are mentioned are self-esteem, ambivalence. I'm just reading out, okay? People attached to the outcome and expectations, carrying old messages in the head, black and white thinking, either this or this. Wherever you go, there you are. These are the themes that she has named, that she calls it authenticity. And there's a very interesting theme that she talks about, which she calls going to the hardware store for milk. You don't go to the hardware store to buy milk, right? Which means that having expectations of other people, wanting others to do something or act in a particular way or give us something, which may not happen really. When permission, seeking permission from other people, taking it personally, unmet needs, wanting things to be different from what it is, really, abandonment, alienation, authority and victim, boundaries. Somebody talked about boundaries, caretaking and people pleasing. Then there's something called lone wolf. This is about refusing to ask for help, ignoring intuition, not in the present, living in the past or living in the future, not in the present, perfection and control, stuck in a strategy. Yeah. And there's something called tunnel vision. So these are something that getting wrapped up in our own experiences, beliefs, and ideas. So these are some of the themes that she talks about. And this is something that many of the clients come up with. So you may observe a pattern across sessions with a particular client. You may observe it as they speak, as they share, which is why, as was shared earlier, the question that should be at the back of your mind is, what is making it a problem for this client? What is making it a problem for this client? Because every client is different. The issues, the clients, 3 different clients may bring you the same problem. But for each of them, the problem is different. So what is making it a problem for this client? Because the context is different for each client, and the person is also different, right? So another thing that she says beautifully is, if you ask more questions about the situation, the client will go deeper into the story, which doesn't help them move forward. Yeah. But when you ask questions about the person, you invite thinking. And questions about the person can be about the person's behavior, about their beliefs, values, and so on. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing that she mentions also.
It was quite insightful how you ran us through the themes. Thank you, Venkat. I saw Sangeeta raise her hand,
Yeah.
so just checking in.
Yeah, I haven't read the book, so my question is not related to the book, but on the COP itself. I'm not sure if you covered it, joined a few minutes late. Are we going to have a recommendation for a book which we'll be reading together and then discussing it next?
Yes, we are going to ask the leaders to take over that question. And of course,
or how are we going forward with the COP? Just
I think we'll come to that pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think for now, what we are thinking, though it's a collaborative space, and we really look forward to all of you to share that what would be the good approach for all of us to learn. But what we were thinking initially is that, okay, this book that we have shared here, we'll try to give this book to everyone to kind of just read and share the reflections on LinkedIn, and we will also associated with this. So for example, all the themes are there, so we might share some insights, some useful resources in the LinkedIn platform itself, and all of us can take this entire month, read this book, share your reflections, so that way we will we'll create a collaborative environment. And so I think that would be really helpful if we apply what we are learning through these books in our coaching sessions, and we share those reflections. So I think that would really be helpful. But yes, I think the floor is open for everyone to kind of share what would be a good approach for all of us. So Venkat, if you have any thoughts here,
Yeah.
please.
My thought is this. See, I don't personally think that we should make this very rigid. I want to make it very flexible. We are talking about books, right? So it's like fireside chat, if you will. So it should be that fluent. There should be that kind of a flow in our conversations. Not that you read. It's not a textbook there. You're not recommending books also. So as far as we'll invite thoughts. Whatever you think is useful for you, you're free to share. This is a collaborative space. We don't want to assert anything or force anything on you. Read whatever book you want. Let's share. Let's have a diversity of thought. So that we learn from different topics, different books. More the merrier, I would say. So, and we can share whatever book, whatever we are currently reading in that LinkedIn page. We can always share our thoughts there. Maybe in the quarterly meeting that we have, 1 or 2 books may be discussed, specific. Or my thought is discuss as many books as you want. My personal feeling is that. But let that evolve as we go along. Yeah. Let's see how it goes.
A
Yeah.
true book lover, Venkat. So as many as books we can read as we can, but I leave it to the leaders. And if there are some volunteers who would like to volunteer for this COP, do raise your hands and contact Aishwarya or Deepika, and they will connect you to the leaders, and then you can drive it from there.
Imran and Madhumita have the hands raised, waiting patiently for time. Imran, go ahead.
Yeah,
Me also.
thank you. So I was just coming back to what you were sharing, Venkat, about the reflection, and the question that I had previously asked was regarding the themes. Well, sometimes I've noticed that clients get stuck in their situation, the context, and making clients aware of the pattern is where it allows them to get out of the situation and think about their behavioral patterns much more consciously. So that's why I was curious to know. I have not read this book in particular, but has reading the book helped you in any way to let the client become more aware in terms of their behavioral patterns? And if that is so, then how has that helped them change those patterns? Because behavioral patterns are very difficult to change. It's based on years and years of conditioning. And even though some clients we've seen through coaching, like they are aware of what needs to be done, it's just that process of taking them from where they are to the actual change that they seek. It's like taking them away from the addiction. And it's just like that. And sometimes addiction is a very strong word. But perhaps the change from addiction would be even more tougher. But even changing some simple behavioral routines and patterns, while the realization is there with the client, it becomes very hard to shift from those patterns. So how does this book and the themes allow people to actually shift from any patterns or themes that they might be predisposed towards?
Themes are there for you to identify what is going on in the conversation, basically, and it helps you think accordingly in the conversation to see where this is coming from, where this client is coming from. Yeah? But that does not mean that you have a set of questions to ask for this particular theme. No, because as I said earlier, each client is different, right? So you have to ask questions based on what is unfolding in front of you, not from a stack of questions you already have, right? So my submission is this, and for you to consider that any coaching for that matter, not necessarily arising from learning from this book, but any coaching which goes to ask questions, make the client think about their own self, make them more self-aware, will eventually lead to a change in their behavioral pattern also. Because self-awareness is all about going deeper within, like how we believe in coaching that everybody has the answers within, right? It's only that we evoke that awareness without questions. So how incisive are your questions? And that's the beauty of coaching, really. You see, if your questions as a coach are not making the client think, then coaching is not happening. If you ask a simple question and they give you an immediate answer, it means the client is walking on familiar ground, no thinking is happening. But where you ask a very, if I may use the word, profound question that stops them, okay, and they pause and start thinking, that is where a shift is starting to happen, And all your questions as a coach should be aimed at making the person think, move forward, or go deeper. And when that happens, when the person goes deeper, they will have that awareness. And the shift will happen eventually. Themes are just there for you to discern what is happening in the session or with the client. That's about it.
Okay, Madhumita and Shruti, you have something to add on? Thank you, Imran.
I have a sort of a live question from somebody was, I think Kanchan was mentioning about application right now. So, and I'm like marrying that with what Venkat just spoke about values, beliefs, and personalities, probing that. So I have a live question from a live coaching incident that I faced, and I'm wondering if I can ask that. It might just point me towards some resource which might help me address it. So basically, like, I found this question about getting into the values and beliefs of the client to be very useful. with peer coaches, where they have, like, they have said that, yes, that was a very powerful question. It really made me think. But, what I'm looking for is maybe some resource, something that I can read, which will help me ask that question, but ask that question less jarringly. In the sense, what happens is a few clients, when you ask them about values and beliefs, when you use the word values and beliefs, then they are not. It makes them think, and they do get to the who, but I think there is a bit of a jarring effect there because they're not sure what is values, what is beliefs. If you ask me what are my values and beliefs, and if I'm not somebody who's really thought about it, then I might still feel that you're probing my who, and I know it might be a great session and I might finally come up with the answer, but I feel that initially there is a bit of a jarring effect. So I am looking for some resource where I can, that iceberg model and things like that, which we read about, what is below the surface and what is above the surface. I'm looking for some resource which might help me ask this question, or get my understanding about this iceberg and ask this question a little better. Firstly, get my understanding about this iceberg deeper, and then help me ask this question better.
Kanchan, you want to take that?
No, I think Venkat, you can take this, and I'm also looking for an answer to this question. So I think this would be really insightful for most of us. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, Madhumita, you don't use the word beliefs, values with the client unless the client has used those words, okay? Otherwise, it will be jarring, like you said, for the client. It will be very. In fact, I'll share a funny incident with you. When I did my first recording evaluation with Rajat, right? It was a 40-minute recording that I took to Rajat for him to listen. And he listened to 6 minutes in the recording, okay? And during the 6 minutes that he heard, he stopped me about 10 times, He said, where did that question come from? Why did you ask that question? Naturally, I failed that recording, okay? That assessment I failed. And I'm going to take another recording. And the reason is because I use this word beliefs right in the beginning of the conversation. What belief will help you achieve that goal, Where the client has never spoken about a belief, where did that question come from? You should not use words that the client has not used. Right? Be very careful about it. I think you all know that, right? And one thing, I think I may have shared it in my some of my other batches, maybe not with your batch, Madhumita. The way you ask a question gently, and the way you do it is like this: you take them deeper first, and then you bring them up again. The deep. When I say the iceberg model, you have the environment, then you have the behavior, then the potential, the beliefs, values, identity. That's a depth, right? You take them deeper step by step, and then you bring them up. Yeah, slowly you bring them up. And I'll just give an example here as to how to do that. Let's say the client comes saying, I want a promotion. That's a topic they want to discuss. Okay. So typically when clients open the conversation, they are talking either about the environment or about the behavior, generally. Okay. So now the client is talking about the environment. They want a promotion, right? So what will it take in your environment to get promoted? Yeah? What do people look for? What is required? Any of these questions. I don't mean it to be a stat question, but any of these questions you can ask. Yeah? And the client will give you a response. And then you ask, how many of those things are you doing? How do you do them? This is about behavior. You've gone one level down now. Okay. Which of those are you doing well? And which of the ones you're not so good at? What are you doing? What are you not doing? Again, behavior. Yeah. That the client might say that, for me, collaboration is a challenge personally. Now the client has gone into the level of capability, the potential. Okay. Now explore at that level a bit. What happens to you then? Yeah. The client will say, I'm an introvert. Basically, I like to work independently or with one person at a time. So coach says, what makes you believe that an introvert can't work with a group? Now you've gone down to deeper into the level of beliefs without using the word belief. What makes you believe that an introvert can't work with a group? Client says, well, I thought introverts usually work alone and they don't mingle with people. We are more, one-to-one kind of guys. While you're being an introvert and you need to collaborate and you're not doing it, Who are you being in that moment? Now you've gone down to the level of identity. Now you've gone at the deepest level. Then the client will say something. Then you ask, who do you need to be then? Then the client will say, I need to be somebody who needs to let go of his biases, need to be an unbiased person. What is important to you about being unbiased? That's about values. Now you're going up. From identity, you're going up to values. Client will say, it'll help me stay non-judgmental and free from my own opinions, So what do you need to believe to be unbiased? Going up to the level of beliefs. I need to believe that everyone works for the company and they are not selfish. What will it take to believe that? What is the competency you need to believe that? That's about potential or capability. Well, I have believed that earlier. I have worked on other biases also, the client will say. So if you have worked on those other biases, what kind of behaviors would you start showcasing to the world? You've gone up to the level of behavior. And the client will give you the answer and then say, how will the environment change based on that? You're going to try to the environment level. So first you took the client deeper, then you took the client up without using those jargon words like beliefs, values, and so on. This is a simple way of, but remember one thing, you don't need to become a slave to this model, first taking the client deeper. If it arises in the course of the conversation, for example, some clients may start directly at the level of identity. I am not that kind of a person. What are the level they are at? At the level of identity. I am. That's always at the level of identity. This is important to me. When they say that they are at the level of what? Values, right? Then go a level deeper. First, stay with them at that level, whatever level they are in, and then go deeper, and then go up. That's a gentle way of doing this exploration. Yeah.
Thank you, Venkat. Thank you for that lovely application and demo. I think it was very valuable indeed. Kanchan and Venkat, I'm just checking, doing a quick check on the time and just checking in. Should we kind of open the floor and decide which book to read and what should we do? Because there are few messages I'm getting from the side about what's the next book coming up, what should we do, how do we go about it? Maybe a few more minutes on that. If we could just spend and have a rules, kind of rules for next month. What are we doing?
Before that, any questions? Any questions coming up in the
Can I
chat box?
something?
Madhuri, any questions in the chat box, by the way?
Any
not been-
questions? I don't know. I have
No?
also not checked. I was quite engrossed in your
Yeah.
Yeah, can I add something here if that works for everyone?
yes, yes,
Either whoever has read the book or been there, can we start the next class if we have a 5-minute video or a 2-minute video on these, because there are a lot of book summaries which are available on YouTube, in case even if if not read the book or not connected with the book, can we play that video or can we have that summary in the beginning so that it helps to connect well into the book and not. So if that works for everyone, we can start with that 5-minute or a 2-minute video. Generally you get it on YouTube, so the immunity of change also has a take, or any these people have one lecture of there which is generally recorded, so it helps us to connect more. Sometimes we've not been able to read this. So I was connected because I was connected from the perspective of coaching, but if you ask me for the book, I probably have got no knowledge of the book as well. So the idea is just to connect with the book as well as how we are practicing what we are practicing and marry both together if that works.
Very nice suggestion. What do you think, Kanchan? Venkat?
Yep. Okay.
So I think we can try and find out, if there is any mini clip which is available. I'm not sure for each book, but yes, whatever is possible, we'll try to bring that resource.
Yeah. Just checking in with everybody. Is everyone okay with this format of sharing something beforehand? So if you are, just put a yes or a thumbs up so we all know you're there. You're okay with this.
I think Kalyan has a question.
Has something.
I have a question. I think it's a very good thought. We introduced a book a few days earlier, so that everybody reads, and everybody first would. I wanted my life to transform first with that essence of book, whatever I'm taking. If it doesn't work to me, I wouldn't be able to apply for anybody else. That's very clear for me. So let me use it for myself and bring that experience there, how it got empowered or how it got moved in my life with maybe with my family or with my friends, anything, so that this concepts or these themes or these tactics are workable. If from this table it has to go to the next table, workable solutions. If it stands still as a concept, I think it's going to be a waste of our energy and time putting interest there. So let's bring our real application, how it moved for me, because there are a lot of books which has moved really me from where I was and where I'm today. It's nothing. It's just a books and a seminars, nothing else.
Sure.
So if you can bring that real-time experience and tell boss, this is what happened to me before I read, I applied this is mood for me. If that it would really inspire us and we can take it to the next level as well. That's my piece of recommendation.
Okay. Well noted. Thank you, Kalyan. Sangeeta, you have something to say?
No, I like both the ideas. There could be some book which is new that none of us have read. We may have a video, or we may not have known what is the application also. I think we shouldn't be stuck with, like how Venkat said, stuck with only these books or whatever. We could have recommendations. People who've read it can start sharing what it is. They can go reread it if they want to, if it makes, if they want to brush up. And the rest of us who've not read it might, actually pick up the book and read it. Yes, if we have some intro or something, like even I like the way Kanchan and Venkat kind of introduced this book. I actually put it in my cart in Amazon immediately. But that also helps. If you've read it, yes, great. If you have a summary. But if not, like if it's a really new book and all of us want to read it and we're reading it, then it may not have these, add-ons that we're talking about. But we shouldn't let it be. We should also try those books too, is what I think.
Yeah. Actually, to add to what you said, Sangeeta, in all my cohorts, I usually recommend books which are not really coaching books per se,
Absolutely.
but things that will help you demonstrate a competency better. For example, listening, being present, not really coaching books, but something that will enhance your competency in practicing that.
Absolutely.
So these are also books that I can share.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very nice. Ruchi?
Sorry, Madhuri, just coming in before people start leaving the session.
Yeah.
There is,
yes.
yes,
Yeah, very
there will
nice.
be CCUs rewarded, so please stay till the end of the session. We will be sharing one resource development CCU for this meeting, so do stay. And also, I would request by the end of the session, if all of you can come on camera, we can just do a small screenshot or a shot of all our faces, so that we can have it as a new beginning to this learning journey. Over to you,
Thanks,
Madhuri.
Ash. Yeah. No, one thing I just wanted to share, Madhuri. In the WhatsApp group, we did try this 3 books. It didn't work. Even I have not read the book. I said I would read. Sorry, but just being open and frank about it, because I haven't seen anyone share anything. So maybe giving too many options, I'm not sure how that works. Just a thought. I'm putting it out there. Because from experience, Jan hasn't worked. Maybe with COP, it may be different, but yes.
Okay, we are here to support. So maybe we can run a poll in the LinkedIn group. And I think I love Kanchan and Venkat's idea of start putting in your reflections about this book or something that you have read around coaching, which you would like to bring up. I think that would add value. I'm just going to do a quick check-in before Aishwarya flashes the CCEUs. Ruchi, I saw your hand up. Anything you would like to add on?
So firstly, congratulations to the whole team behind this initiative. This was something that I have been waiting for years. So I am also part of that team where I have a lot of books purchased, lovely books, but I started few and have left them in the middle or not touched at all. Recently, I started a book club in our community. So in October last year, the 7 of us came together, book lovers. So I used to read when I was young. And then life took over. 20 years, I didn't touch any book. And this so happened that we just started. And over the last 4 months, we've finished 5 books, including the Nobel Prize winner for literature last year, The Vegetarian by Hancock. So, it's a kick, the thrill that you get of finishing a book and then coming together and having a discussion on that book. So I was really praying that, something like that happens for books on coaching. Storybooks, it's okay. It's lovely, it's story, you're engaged, but the books on coaching and learning sometimes become really heavy and you really need strong motivation to go and pick up and finish that book. So my request to the group of people who really would love to read here is that if you can also, along with whatever modalities that we are discussing, if you can share tips and tricks of assimilating while you're reading. How do you do that? While you're reading a chapter, so there are different ways of assimilating and then relating it to the real life that you're doing. So if you can also share tips that are working for you, like how Venkat said that this book has been kind of a Bible and it's all highlighted, and that's how he learns it and he keeps it and he keeps referring back to. So if there are certain tips like that, tricks like that has helped you assimilate and learn, please do share on this forum. Yeah, I'm so excited to read books along with you, and it really helps if you're reading in a community.
Thank you.
Yeah, so maybe 12 books in
Yeah.
25.
Yeah. Why not? Let's aim for it. I already have 4 piled up here, so let's aim for it. Aishwarya, maybe you want to flash that and we'll continue the discussion after
No,
your.
Madhuri, Madhumita and Roma have their hand raised. Let's go to them.
Yes. May I come back to you, Madhumita and Roma? Let's have because there are some people who are leaving. So let's allow Aishwarya to do her part so that all of us earn our CCEUs.
Please scan the QR code here and fill in your details so that you're able to get this.
Okay. Roma, Madhumita, if you want to add something.
Yeah, I had a question, and the question is that before we end this session, are we going to have a book recommendation that we should read before the next session, or do we look at LinkedIn for that?
It's a collaborative space, as Kanchan and Venkat have been saying. So I leave it to the leaders actually to decide how do we want to go about this. Do we want to recommend a book for now?
What do you think?
I mean, I think I feel that it's useful that if there is a book recommended and we all read that to whatever extent possible, hopefully the full book, and then the whole group is then engaged on that one book, and it maybe makes it even more exciting.
Maybe we can. We can hear from Kanchan and Venkat. Is there something that you have in mind? First of all, I want to really thank both Kanchan and Venkat for readily agreeing to be part of this and lead this COP. I don't think we would have had, anybody else better than both of them to start and help us to even initiate this COP as a concept here with the books on coaching. So thank you so much for your time today. But I'm going to just keep mum and allow you to come in and share what is the book that we want to read. And I'm speaking on behalf of everybody. Which one should we read?
I think Venkat, if you have something in your mind, yeah, you can share.
But before that, I want to go to Madhumita. Let her ask a question or make a statement, whatever.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
So a couple of things. First is that I tried scanning that code, but it's not working for me. Meaning I tried taking a pic on my mobile and scanning it. and all of that. And
Mhm.
is there any other way to fill in the details? That's one. The second is that, since when we did this cohort, when we did our cohort and ACC training with Venkat, and he mentioned this iceberg model. And since then, I have been trying to Google and figure out which book to read to get a deeper understanding of what is, like he mentioned, like Venkat, you mentioned with this example so beautifully. I would like to read something for myself and make sure that it is imprinted in my mind, this whole, what is behind what and what is in front of what. When I try Googling iceberg model, it gives me like, iceberg model is such a popular thing that it puts me all over the place.
Yeah. So my recommendation is read a book called Awaken the Giant Within, Madhumita, by
Okay.
Anthony Robbins. Okay, Awaken the Giant Within.
Okay.
It's a huge book. It's a 500 odd pages, 560 pages book, but
Okay.
he goes very in depth about beliefs, values, identity, and so on. Yeah, it's a beautiful book
Okay.
for your all-round development also as a person. So
Okay.
lovely book. Yeah.
Okay, thank
So
you.
that will also tell me the sequence of the iceberg model, how like the
Sorry,
from
I'm
the
going to press button. I'm so sorry, Madhumita. Can some of these questions be taken offline? Because I just want to make sure everybody is engaged
okay,
and we
sure,
get some more recommendations
Okay.
before people go off. So maybe
All right.
just wait
Okay,
for
done.
someone.
Yeah, sure.
So there is one that has already come in, which is Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins. Checking in with other people if there is anything else that you would like.
Wait,
Yeah.
That's not a coaching book, by the way. It's just more of self-development kind of book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a 560 odd page book, very big book. So you may lose patience, but it's a beautiful book. Yeah.
Okay. I have a selfish recommendation because I have that pile of books with me. Can I? So it's
Uh,
called The Tao of Coaching.
Oh, I have read the book. Okay.
I've
Yeah.
read that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There are some,
Venkat,
like I
to
was
get a book
sharing.
you haven't read might be difficult, but
No, there are about, I recently I did a thing. I looked for books on each competency, I come up with and researched that and downloaded a few on Kindle and bought a few and so on. So I'll share that in course of time. I'll share not everything I don't want to download right now. So yeah,
Kanchan,
there's some beautiful books on coaching, really. Yeah.
anybody else wants to recommend? Venkat is going to keep giving us more recommendations. We're looking up to you, Venkat and Kanchan.
Yeah. One book I would like to recommend right away is to read the book called Simplifying Coaching. That's another book apart from The Heart of Laser Focused Coaching. That's another book that influenced me very deeply. Simplifying Coaching by Claire Pedrick.
Okay.
Claire, Pedrick, Pedrick, Claire Pedrick. Simplifying Coaching.
Okay.
It's a little costly, costs over $2,000, but worth reading.
Thank you, Kanchan.
So I think we can keep one book at least as a recommendation so that everybody has a focused approach. And of course, anybody, whatever you are reading, otherwise also you can share on LinkedIn. But yes, for this meeting, I think one book would be a good recommendation.
Okay. All right.
So I think this book I have also not read. So Venkat, thank you so much. I'm sure there would be, huge learnings from this book. Thank you.
All right. You're talking about Simplifying or Tower of Coaching?
Simplifying coaching is what we are taking. I mean, whichever. Both I have not read.
No, I keep pushing my agenda about Tower of Coaching. So I'm just checking in.
So we have to read this book by when? I mean, what is the time that, I know we're not giving rigidity, but when is the next meeting and when are we going to?
So the next meeting, of course, is in next quarter, which would be April. But yes, we will be connecting continuously on LinkedIn. So even if you guys are starting with the book and you guys want to share anything on the book, first page of the book or 10th page of the whatever, whenever you guys feel like checking in on LinkedIn, please do that. But yes, we will be discussing the books in April. So you have 3 months time frame, but we would recommend you to read more books. So we have more discussions and more books to reflect on.
Maybe a month timeline? Is that okay for a one book, or is it too much?
So I think we can give, 1 month, one book, and then on LinkedIn itself, we might
give
have a
a-
meeting after a quarter. But yes, I think that we'll all have a focused approach. Okay, this month we are focusing on this book, and everybody can share the insights around that book largely. But yes, otherwise, whatever people are reading, yeah, that would
And
be
we
good.
will have 3 books also to discuss during the meeting, and it won't
Yes.
be one book. Yeah, great. Yeah, sorry. Yes, that works.
So is that okay with everybody? Just checking in. If okay, then thumbs up, please. So
No, I just want to understand what is the context here we are creating. What is the context?
can't see who's
Because
speaking.
because too many recommendations are there. We need to have a context. This is the context, so that we all are aligned with that context.
Context is talking about coaching itself, developing our own capabilities and resources.
Like Venkat said, important word, competency. Development of competency can be a context. So we'll all work only on that context and keep reading the material resource based on that and come and explore here. That's what I meant.
I have a very different take on that, Kalyan. There are some people over here are on different coaching journeys. Okay, some of them may not have started their journeys itself. Okay, so if we start getting into too much depth about competencies, it might become a little bit too much for those who are coming in with a mindset of let me at least explore what is coaching and just for the love of reading books. So my suggestion would be to stick to the book and not it's a great suggestion. What Venkat has done is a fantastic research. Okay, and definitely over the time he will share those recommendations as well. But for now, knowing the audience that is coming in, this is my recommendation. Aishwarya knows the audience as well, so just checking in. Aishwarya, is that okay?
Yes, 100%, Madhuri, with you.
Kalyan, just checking in, is that okay with you?
No, I was just giving an example like what was that said. Book can be anything, but we need to have a clear context of what are we creating this? What do you want to create from this? Because I am not clear so far.
No,
so far I'm not clear what we're going to create.
No, I think his question is what is the objective of our COP and what's going to be our focus, if I have to rephrase it.
Okay.
I'll answer that, Madhuri. So
Yeah.
the objective behind this, Kalyan, is basically, I would say, continuous learning and development. Because if you remember the coaching competency mindset, the coaching mindset, what is that? Embodies a coaching mindset competency. Second competency, right? It says engages in ongoing learning and development. So this contributes to that, right? Secondly, with these books, you're also deepening your own coaching competencies. Third, I think third thing, the objective itself is that it broadens your own perspective because you think in a particular way, but when you hear somebody talking about it from a different perspective, your own thinking is broadened, It exposes us to different perspectives. So that's another one. These are the things that we are, I think, striving to get at.
So we will take the Within the Giant of Tony Robbins' book. That will
No. That was only for Madhumita specifically, not for this group as a whole. No, not that book. No, it's not a coaching book really. No.
Can I add something to this? What Kalyan just mentioned. So what I found useful is he mentioned this book. Simplifying coaching, right? So when I went and Googled and found it in Amazon, it gave me the context immediately. So that's probably one way to get the context for ourselves. It's important for me to get the context as well. So when I went and Googled, I found that it says that how can you create transformations in quicker time, something on those lines. That's what the context of that book is. So that helped me feel that, yes, I connect to this context. This is what I would like to pick up. And I went and ordered the book. So that's how I operate. I mean, it's not like whatever people recommend, everything I will start ordering, right? Because then there's no point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, Kalyan, this is just to support you in terms of
that
a
makes
COP.
sense. That makes sense. I'm very clear. Now I'm very clear about the book and the context.
Okay. So Kalyan, I'm just sharing the link about why COPs are created by ICF. You can Google it. You can go to coachfederation.org and go to communities of practice to know a little bit more. And we have modeled this on this ICF recommendations itself. So the purpose of COP is to knowledge share whatever we are learning, whatever we are reading, and practice it. So the whole idea, if the name itself is communities of practice, so practicing is more important over here. So just wanted to bring in that element. I can see people are dropping off. Want to quickly check in over here. There is a potential that if anybody is interested in volunteering for this communities of practice, please raise your hand so that our team will approach. And yeah.
Madhuri, if it's okay, all of you have our numbers, you guys have who we are, where are we, all of it. So just drop in a message if you guys are interested in becoming an ambassador or, becoming a leader as well, so that we also have our next leaders in line and build this community together. Yes, it's quite late. I understand a lot of you are joining from different parts of the world. So, any other questions, please drop in a message and we will surely connect with our leaders and Madhuri and get an answer for you. Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. I think good night is a better term, but good night, everybody, and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye. I mean, day.
Bye-bye. Dolvin, hello and bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.